Hello everyone, this is Piero Giorgio, author of Survive the Economic Collapse and other books. Today, I'm here with a special guest. RamZPaul, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing? It's great to meet you. We've had a fabulous breakfast, so it's been wonderful.
Great to meet you. We're in Budapest, in Hungary.
Love it.
Lovely place. Look, you're a famous YouTuber. Very funny videos. I will put the link of your channel just below the video. Your specialty seems to be comments on daily events,
Yes.
with a strong sense of humor. How would you define the sense of humor and humor in general?
Well, I think humor is really about telling the truth, but in a way that's not really offensive, that people know. And humor has to be based on what is real, and that's what makes it funny. If it's not based on reality, it's not funny. So if you just say what everyone really knows, but put it in a way that it doesn't really scare people, it's not angry, I think that's a great way you can get your point across. And I think, because I'm old enough to remember in the 1970s how the left really got their message across was not, boring lectures from Trotsky or something like that, because who cares, it's boring. But Norman Lear, he put together these shows like MASH, All in the Family, and all those type of shows that were funny and people could relate. So he pushed his message through humor. I think we need to do that, is to be able to reach the culture that way, because that's what people respond to. People don't tend to respond to intellectual arguments, although that's important, but they respond to a feeling and an emotion. And if you get people laughing, they'll at least listen to you.
So, what's your maître à penser? I don't know how you say that in English. What's your masters for humor? What are the people who makes you laugh?
I always like, one of my favorite comedians, he's gone now, is George Carlin. I don't know if you know him, but he was a master. He could be crude, but he just said things that were true. He did a routine about euphemisms, how we make up words so we don't talk about the reality of the situation. Everyone got laughing because that's true, because we try to deny reality by making up certain words, but it's funny if you think about it. So I really like George Carlin, especially near the end. He really talked about issues that people could relate to. And he was actually kind of politically incorrect before his time. I don't think they use that term, but he would say things now that probably get him censored, but I admired him as a comedian.
Now, humor can also be used to manage one's own emotions. Especially, how do you see humor, self-humor, self-deprecating humor, useful to manage fear, or one's own fears?
Yeah, well, there's that famous phrase we have in English, gallows humor. That's where, before you're about to be hanged, people will make jokes. And actually, soldiers in the First World War, even the Second World War, they would have humor about situations. Police officers do. It's a way to manage your fear, to put things in perspective. So you don't, life can be a horrible place, but if you can look at some of the fun, the absurdity of the situation, it can help get you through a really tough situation. And we face tough situations, but we always have to have a sense of joy about the life we live in, because this is our life, we need to enjoy it.
Buddhists say that life is suffering. Would you agree with that?
I think a lot of life is suffering, but it can be a lot of joy too. So we need to understand that there's nothing wrong with realizing that suffering is real. And I said this in one of my videos, so much of Americans now, we don't even want to have funerals. We call them celebrations of life. And there's this idea we're even supposed to be happy at funerals now because we celebrate. No, it's okay to be sad. And I think there is a suffering in life, but that the suffering gives us a sense of the things that can be beautiful, like today's a beautiful day and beautiful girls walking by there. So that's some of the things, it gives us appreciations of the great things in life.
Okay. Where will your YouTube channel lead you and lead us?
I hope it just provides people something fun to look at, give some ideas out there. because I've always had the idea of the concept of nationalism and self-determination. It's not a hateful concept. It's not an extreme concept. It's a natural human desire with all people. And I hope I can have influence in that way to allow to know people that you can support these type of things without being a hateful person, without being a crazy nut.
Okay, I want to give you a gift.
I love it.
My first book that was translated in English. There's more coming. You heard of the concept of before?
I have, yes. I'm familiar with your work, and I'm really honored to have your book.
Do you think we are the Western world, and generally speaking, the globalized world is going in a glorious future, or is it going to a difficult future?
Both. We got to go through the difficult future first, and then it will be, I think, glorious. I'm very optimistic long term, very long term, but short term we're going through a tough time. But see, we don't have a choice in when we're born. We're born when we're born, and we have to deal with the situation now. So I hope that long term we can have a good future, but in the short term, 10, 20, 30 years, I think we're in some difficult times.
Excellent. Well, RamZPaul, thank you very much, and
Thank you.
We'll meet again.
Let's do.
Take care.